Hey everybody, this is Jamie Steelman with Team Steelman Mortgage. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk a little bit about things that we always talk about, basically maybe a little real estate, some mortgage stuff, some stuff in the community, and just hear from some people that are really making an impact out there and are making a difference in the community. So today we've got my friend Tim Collins here in the studio. So thanks for being here, Tim.
Thank you for inviting me out. Pleasure to be here.
Of course. So tell everybody a little bit about what you do for a living, what you enjoy, and all that kind of fun stuff.
Well, I consider myself a real estate advisor here in Middle Tennessee, around the Nashville area. I guess public sees me as a realtor, but I think it's more of an advisory status. And I sell residential real estate here in Middle Tennessee. I also enjoy spending time traveling and doing Jeep events, as we were just talking about. My Jeep's in the shop right now, but no big deal. It'll get out of the shop. But anyways, just enjoy doing Jeep events, traveling, and I've always loved real estate my whole life.
So break that down a little bit when you say, what's the difference between a real estate agent and a real estate advisor, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion is, if you're a real estate agent, you have a license. You did the test, you passed it, you're able to sell and help people buy and sell real estate. To me, a real estate advisor is somebody who's going to be a little bit more helping to the customer or the clients.
Cool.
And you're going to pretty much get more in depth of what's best for them. Because I will tell you, there's many times where it's not best for people to sell their property. Mm-hmm. I had a client in Clarksville. Well, I guess they weren't a client because we never actually sold their property. But I had somebody that I advised up in Clarksville about 6 months ago, and he was wanting to sell his house to downsize.
Yeah.
However, when you really think about what was going on with the rates where they're at now and what he has on his house now, he was going to be paying more to get a smaller house, and he really wasn't getting much equity out of it. So he was better off just taking a HELOC out to help him through the next few months to get what he needs to do. And so, again, that's a little bit more advisory. I'm a real estate agent, as you know, the facade out there is that, you know, you're just out there to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Where I think of an advisor is more somebody who's going to throw all the options out there, and in the end, it's your decision.
Gotcha.
And I'm just there to help you with that decision.
So trying to get rid of that that image or some that people have of like, hey, go stick a sign in the yard and then wait for the paycheck at closing.
Exactly.
It's a lot more than that.
It is a whole lot more than that.
I think that's good because, I think there's, not just the perception out there, but like TV shows and stuff, they make it look so, glorious. Like you get up, go to the gym, do your stuff, stop by, sign a few papers, pick up a big check, and, then drive your Mercedes away or whatever, that kind of stuff. So I think and that's what we do too. We're much more education based. We tell people like, somebody's like, I need to refinance. I don't even know where rates are. So then we have to look and say, hey, now might not be the right time for you to. You need to do this. Maybe look at a HELOC. Maybe look at just working on your budget a little bit until the time's right. But trying to educate people and advise people a lot more than just try to sell them a product or sell them a house, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. That's why we team so well together. It's because we're both out to help the person out. And then in the end, the paychecks come.
Yeah.
You do what's right for people, and you will get paid over time.
Very cool. So I know we can get into a lot of stuff. One thing I know that I've talked about a lot with you, and a lot of people come to you for advice on, is open houses. So some agents love to do them. Some agents hate them or feel like they don't have time for them. I know a lot of newer agents work open houses and try to find out how that works. I've always heard you've had a lot of success with them. Kind of why have you had success with them, and what's your kind of key? Why do you like doing them?
Well, I'm more of a face-to-face person. I'm not a over-the-telephone kind of person. I don't like to BS people or whatever. So to me, being in person and in front of somebody coming into a house and looking at the house is a lot more comfortable. So I love open houses because it's more of a comfort factor with me. You bring the knowledge. I know you bring the knowledge to the person. Also, open houses are where a lot of people are thinking about it. They're sort of putting their toe in the water. They're testing it to see, hey, do we want to find another house? Do we want to downsize? Do we want to buy a bigger home? It's before they really even talk to an agent or even before they talk to a lender.
Yeah.
So open houses are also great because you're not paying Realtor.com or Zillow or these other large companies. Not sure if I'm supposed to say the names on here, but you're not paying them a referral fee because at times you're paying up to 50% as a referral fee when you find a client.
Wow.
So you're able to give a lot better service and offer a lot more to the client
Yeah.
whenever you're not paying those referral fees.
And it's probably a much more relaxed environment. Like you said, just sit and meet with somebody. They don't feel like they're being pressured. They're just coming to check out this open house, see what it's like. If they're thinking they might buy next year, they might buy next month, they at least can kind of stroll through and ask you some questions without feeling like they've got that pressure of, oh my gosh, they're going to push me to go buy a house, push me to buy this house. I'm sure it's where you just get to meet people and kind of start building that relationship a little bit.
It is, and you're able to offer that knowledge because over the phone, a lot of people are defensive when you call them, where in person, it's like, hey, come on in, take a look around the house, give me your contact information here, just so that, like I send a gift card out to everybody that comes into my open house about a week or two after they come to the open house, because it's just
cool.
a reminder, hey, you met me, and when you're there, I'm here to help. I like to always end things with, I'm always here to help, because that's really what I feel it's about. It's about helping the individual, the consumer, find a home of their dreams, and in the process they become friends and you get to know a lot of them and do stuff like that. But I'm sorry, I feel like I'm getting off topic.
No, you're perfectly fine. What I was going to say too about relationships, like with real estate, that's kind of how we met. I mean,
exactly.
we didn't meet in an open house, but we met through real estate before you were even a real estate agent.
Yeah, we met when I was still working for Cracker Barrel here in Tennessee, and I was looking to buy a house before making the switch from a paycheck to 1099.
Yeah.
And I knew the market was changing 5 years ago, so I wanted to make that switch. And you were with a bank at that time, and you ended up handling my loan. So I got to see the way you acted on the customer side, and then I enjoyed that process. So when I became a realtor, of course, our relationship has grown.
Yeah, it's been really good. So also on the real estate side, I know with realtors, real estate agents, that kind of stuff, everything's about your brand. People do business with people who they know, like, and trust. But as far as like the idea of cloud brokerages and brick and mortar and different concepts with real estate, where are you at currently, and kind of why do you choose to be where you're at?
Well, I'm somebody where I'm very analytical. So I've only been a realtor now for 5 years, and I've been full time now for 4.5 of those years, and been able to nicely support my lifestyle and everything. But I'm with Simply Home, and before I got with Simply Home, I did interview with about 10 different brokerages.
Wow.
One of the big important things to me was the support of what the broker was going to offer to me. I'm 45 years old, so I don't need somebody to really hold my hand and help me find the leads and all that. I just need somebody to sort of be there for those dumb questions that you have, or to sort of just answer and help you out when needed. So Simply Home was great with that, because they do offer in-house brokerages where you can go and access 24/7, which I love that. But they also have all the technology of like the cloud-based firms, and they don't take a lot of your paycheck, which is nice, because
It's always a good thing.
The consumer doesn't really realize it, but like when I have a closing, it goes to Simply Home. Simply Home would take their cut or their portion of it, and then I get my portion of it. So there's a lot more that comes out of it than just that number you see on the Alta at closing.
Sure.
That's not necessarily what we get, just like the lenders don't necessarily get the bottom line that you see on there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've heard a lot of great things about Simply Home. I don't know everybody there, but I mean, they have a pretty big roster of agents and have grown. I don't know how long they've been around, but I know over the last, 5 or 6 years in Murfreesboro, they've grown tremendously.
Yes, they have. I know they started as Home Group. Okay. That was shortly before I joined them. And then I think they've been around for, and Sean, if you watch this, please don't get upset, but I think it's about 6-7 years. Okay. They've been around. I know that I think we're around 900 agents or something like that.
Wow.
Now, and I think we're in about 30 different states.
Okay.
I know Sean's growing pretty quickly, but what I love about it is even with everything growing, we still have the culture of the office. And we still have like local trainings where everybody can get together if they want. And if you don't want to, there's a lot of stuff that's online for you to look at.
Yeah.
Like, for example, today at 11 o'clock, we had a CEO mastermind. And every Friday at 11 o'clock, Sean gets on there for an hour and just answers any questions any of the agents have. And it's nice to have that access to CEO.
Yeah, for sure. And when you mentioned 30 states, do you get licensed in a bunch of other states, or does that give you the ability to, if somebody's in another state, you can refer a Simply Home agent to them So they're kind of under that umbrella of people you trust, or how do you kind of do that stuff with out of town buyers?
Well, you have that referral base, which, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're with Simply Home or not. Whenever you're an agent referring them out, you just want to find trusting agents in the other places. But when you talk about like a lot of these cloud brokerages for the agents out there, Simply Home also has a similar downline situation where you can make money off people in your downline.
Okay.
I'm not on that program with Simply Home. I'm more here to work real estate, and if I get people in my downline, they go there.
Sure.
I know I have a couple mentees right now I'm working with. One of them just had her first closing this last week, which was amazing.
That's awesome.
But
you were talking about, I mean to cut you off, but you were talking about like you're 45, don't need a lot of guidance, but some little tips here and there. Do you enjoy being a mentor though, and helping, people that are brand new or maybe younger that are just trying to get in and have tons of questions and are like, I don't even know how this works, but I know I want to do it. Do you enjoy that part of it?
I do. I love it. And that's actually when I switched from working with Cracker Barrel, having 150 employees underneath me, to when I became a real estate agent. I mean, every real estate agent is pretty much their own business. So I went from managing 150 people to managing myself, which is great in a lot of aspects, but you miss that part where it's the enjoyment of training and watching people develop and grow. And that's where the mentoring has allowed me to really experience that also, even though it's a different company than, of course, the food industry.
Sure.
But it's customer service. And I mean, I'm loving working with the mentees, helping them grow and working with them. And I think I answered your question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You did. No, that's really cool. And I know we talked about open houses, but you've had a lot of success with those. So, but if you had to narrow down, what's your favorite thing about being a real estate agent?
Favorite thing is interacting with people. I love that what I do on a daily basis can bring me business. Like, for example, I was at Loretta Lynn's ranch last weekend for Trail Jam. And just sitting around the campfire, I have a client that I'm picking up now that wants to sell 55 acres.
Yeah.
Just doing what you love and just mentioning, hey, I'm a realtor. And then when they ask for advice, because like he asked for a lot of advice. He has real estate agents in his family, but he called me up yesterday and was interested in pursuing me more because he liked the knowledge that I brought to him.
That's cool. But not as that pressure cooker kind of like, you got to use me, you got to do this. Let's go. Yeah. And I've noticed that about you. You're pretty casual. You're real pressing. I mean, when you get into negotiating a contract and stuff, you got to get a little bit, you got to know what you're doing. But I think with clients, they appreciate your nice, kind of laid back, not real pressure cooker kind of guy.
Yeah, there's a time and a place to show the pressure. And I mean, that's part of negotiations. It's a little different when you're negotiating, but when you're talking to a client and you're advising them, you don't want to pressure them to do the wrong thing, because I joke with people when I'm like, for example, you're my go-to lender. You're the lender that I refer to people. So it's like a lot of people, because I refer you to them, they look at you as being part of my team. Oh, yeah. So it's very important that you give good advice, but let them make the decision, because if you refer them to a lender or somebody who can't make it happen, it's going to reflect on you also.
Oh yeah, big time. That's what I tell people all the time with real estate partners and all that kind of stuff. I'm a big part of the transaction, but I'm no different than if you tell them to call this person for insurance or call this home inspector or if I'm super rude to them, then they're not only going to go like, that guy's crazy, but why did Tim send me to that guy? I trusted Tim.
I have a vendor right now, which I'm having they've done wonderful the last 3 years with stuff, but the last 6 months there's been some sort of a hiccup. Yeah. So I'm having to check back in with that vendor and like, hey, second guess that relationship, because if you're not getting the stuff done like you have been, maybe I need to look to a different vendor, not lender, of course. But look to a different vendor for handling those situations.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest, pressure points that y'all have, is because I'd say 95% of people call a real estate agent first before they do anything. I know you guys would probably love they get pre-approved first, then call you, but 99% of the time they call you first. So then from that trust point on, everybody that you suggest, hey, call this person, they look at them as your team. And so if somebody on that team drops the ball, they're going to come back to you and go, man, I can't believe you use them. Why do you use them? And it kind of all comes back to you, even if it's no fault of yours, nothing you've done, but they still look as you're the trusted person that they go to for everything from A all the way till the end, and usually after. Because if something happens to somebody's house, most of the time they call their agent afterwards too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm helping somebody right now find somebody to help them with the slope of the backyard to make it so that it's a little bit better for irrigation and everything. And so they call you for a ton of stuff, and it's
Yeah.
that's another reason why I consider it more of an advisor, because you're advising before and after. The transaction's just something in the middle. You're really just building a relationship.
Yeah. Trying to help them through all the different stages of life. Most people, when you're doing a loan for them or buying a house, it's not the last house they're going to buy. Mm-hmm. Some situations it is, but I mean, most of the time they're doing that, and then they want to be able to call you and, hey, we want to move on. What do we do with this house? Or my sister's doing this, my brother's doing this, somebody at work's doing this. That's where you need to be the advisor, where they go, oh, I need to call Tim. That's who I need to ask about this stuff.
Well, I mean, just like for you guys, for example, right now with interest rates where they are,
mm-hmm.
everybody's assuming at some point they're going to come down, which hopefully they will.
They keep saying they're going to.
They do. But one of the big things is when people are making this big step is, all right, well, when we go with Jamie, what's going to happen when I go to refinance? And I know you offer incentives to help with that as long as they refinance with you. And that's a great plus to have.
Yeah.
But most people wouldn't even think about that. They would just think, oh, I'm going to go refinance. Let me call everybody in the phone book and see what's going on, and not actually go through the lender that they currently have or could be using.
Yeah, that's why we have to take so much time to, like I said, not just close the deal. People got to know they can call you with questions. That's what I tell people at closings too. Give me a call if you get stuff in the mail that you don't recognize what it is. If you get something about your insurance, taxes, and some people look at you like, why would I call you about my taxes? Because it's a starting point. We have so many contacts and vendors and people that we use. So if there's a question about anything, call us. We can help walk you through that, kind of figure out where to go from there. But yeah, so I love the word advisor and think it's a great way to look at real estate for sure. Kind of flipping. So I know we talked about, all the great parts and the fun parts about it. So what's the most frustrating part of being in the real estate industry?
Well,
you wish you could change maybe, or that wasn't quite the way it is out there, maybe even the impression of, what you do.
Well, the impression's definitely something that I feel like needs to change, but that's just going to be, I can only do my part. Because with the real estate license being only a 90-hour course, a lot of people can get a license relatively easily.
Sure.
A lot of people can do one transaction a year pretty easily and not really know the business, or maybe they don't have that person to call and ask a stupid question, so they make little mistakes, and those mistakes are going to reflect on everybody in the industry.
Sure.
But probably my biggest thing, the first thing that came to my mind, and everybody probably says it, communication.
Yeah.
Biggest thing is one of the important thing with the people I do business with, like you and other people, is I want that communication.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts when, for example, I think it was day before yesterday, I called almost 8 realtors trying to find some information about some houses. 2 of the 8 called me back.
Wow.
So that's part of our perception in the industry, is that we're not really good at communicating. But it's, I would say, the communication. Answering phone calls, returning texts.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, communication kind of fixes everything, good or bad. I mean, you can have, communicate something that's horrible news, but if it takes you 3 days to deliver it, it's going to be a lot worse than if you just called the person and said, hey, here's what's going on.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're just wondering what's going on, or you're trying to, I see people post on Facebook all the time, real estate agents, they're like, I'm trying to show a house and the listing agent won't even call me back. Or, or even like, and it's like, that sounds crazy. It's like, hey, I'm trying to give you money. I'm trying to help you sell this house over here, and you're not even calling me back. That's got to be pretty frustrating for sure.
Oh, it is. And it's crazy when you're looking at some of the listings and stuff like that, or, and like square footage is off by hundreds of square feet, or the photo, I can see why the facade is out there about our industry. Mm-hmm. And all I can do is what I can do to make it best as I can. Take care of make sure I'm doing the right thing, make sure I'm doing right by all the people that trust me.
Yeah.
And then teach my mentees the best I possibly can to do the right thing.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go. And I spend a lot of time telling my team that as well. Like, we're not looking to work with every real estate agent that's out there. We want to find our people. We want to find the people that we work good with. They appreciate us. We appreciate them. Let's build those relationships and try to find a way to get us all more business and help more people than trying to just like, hey, we'll work with anybody, anytime, anywhere. Because that kind of stuff can get you in, like you said, those mistakes are made and real mistakes happen and bad stuff happens. But if it's, somebody that doesn't take their job seriously and they're not a professional, they can get you into a situation that's going to rub off on your reputation. and that kind of stuff you don't want to happen. You want to be able to work with people that have each other's back. When things come up that are unpleasant or not great, let's talk about it and figure out, is there a solution or, what do we do here moving forward?
Yeah, because a lot of your job and my job is problem solving.
Yeah.
And it's great when you have that relationship with the realtor on the other side that's going to help you solve the problem, because not everything's cut and dry. No one transaction in real estate is the same.
Right.
If I've learned anything over the last 5 years, it's that everything's new, and it's just trying to figure it out and trying to find a place where everybody's happy.
Yeah. So what are you seeing out there right now? Everybody talks a lot about existing and new construction, people not selling because they've still got a 2% rate. People that do want to move but are kind of like waiting to see what happens. So kind of just, from your experience, what are you seeing the most of out there, or people talking about the most?
Well, I mean, first off, people are always buying and selling.
Yeah.
So there's always business out there. I've been pretty blessed. I've done what I did last year plus some already this year, halfway through.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's been very nice. I'm on track to beat my best year in the industry in the last 5 years.
Awesome.
So I'm loving that. But that's not to brag. That's just to say the business is out there.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of realtors, that they're upset about houses sitting on the market. But I think a lot of that comes down to just having, if you're listing the home, you need to have the right conversation with the sellers.
Yeah.
You need to let them know where the market's sitting right now.
Expectations.
Set the expectations. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
You need to set the expectations with the sellers from the beginning. Hey, how often are you going to update them on what's going on with their house? If this is the price y'all decide on, what's the action steps if that doesn't bring the volume in? Because you have indicators that tell you if the price is correct, or if it's the marketing, or it's going to either be presentation, price, or gosh, I can't think of the third P.
Yeah.
So we got to edit that part out.
It's something.
Yeah, but it's going to be one of those is what's going on, and if you don't set those expectations in the industry, it's not going to be there.
Yeah. I think one of the things I tell agents all the time, the part of y'all's job that I don't want to do is try to come in and tell somebody how much their house is worth and how much they want to sell it for. I think doing a listing would be really hard. I can't imagine but I think working with experienced agents that have done it for a while, like yourself, I think it's important to tell people, maybe they want to sell it for X dollars, and you can go, okay, we can list it for that, but I feel like we're probably need to be here. And if it doesn't sell, then we need to go to here at this point. Whereas some people are just so laid back, they're going to go, okay, I'll just list it for that. Then it sits on the market. They're not, I don't know what the word is, brave enough or intentional enough to tell the seller what's really going on. So then after a while, the seller just says, fire you, move on to a different agent, or I'm going to take my house off the market completely, just because they haven't been filled in on what's really going on and had those kind of like tough conversations of the market's going to tell you what your house is worth. So we can list it. Some people will say like a house is worth whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. Cash. Yes. but with financing, there's appraisals, there's comps, there's all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure some of those conversations aren't as easy and fun as you would like, but then probably that's how you get those close relationships with people, is telling them the truth of what's really going on.
Exactly. And that's why I consider us more advisors than real estate agents or realtors. I mean, if you want somebody to just put a sign in the yard and you tell them what price to list it for, I guess that's a basic realtor. But the advisor part of it is, hey, this is the price that you think it's worth. That could work. And if you want to market at that price, that's fine. But, as a realtor, I put thousands of dollars into a listing before we even go live. So I'm not getting paid unless we sell that house.
Right.
So I want to know for my business aspect, and also just to personally help them, hey, if you're motivated to move and you want to sell this house within 90 days because you're getting another home under contract, let's say in Connecticut, we need to have the right plan to do that. And that's where advising comes in. And no one plan is the same for every person.
Yeah.
It's going to be what works for their life and their pocketbook.
For sure. So tell me one, this might be hard to just draw off the top of your head, but tell me one of your favorite or most memorable, people or transaction that you've worked that's just really stuck in your head and kind of makes you go like, okay, on the harder days, like that's the one that stays in my head and makes me go, I'm ready to go move forward with the day and keep going.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind was, it was probably 3.5, 4 years ago. It was a single mother with 4 kids. 2 of them have autism. And it was when we were at the hype of whatever happened where all the prices were going nuts.
Yeah, kind of through COVID
it
and
was
all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So she had a budget, and we were looking for a 3 to 4 bedroom townhome for her as a starter home to get out of the rentals. We went in, and I don't know how I was able to even pull it off, but we went in and offered max budget, but we kept the appraisal contingency in there. So when it appraised, which we knew it would not appraise, sort of a bad way to sort of go at it, but it worked out great for her.
Yeah.
Is it appraised lower? We got them to drop the price down to a more comfortable spot. And she's been in that home now, and she's actually looking to upsize now.
Wow.
Well,
That's
upgrade. Cool. I guess not upsize, but
upsize, upgrade. Yeah. That's
but,
really cool.
But helping her, and then just seeing the growth of her and her family over the years, and she's gotten promoted within her job, and now we're looking for a single family home, but she's going to keep this townhome as a future rental for generational wealth with her family.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest things. I mean, those are the most rewarding ones. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's hard to get out there to close-minded people, where home ownership is a lot more than just paying a mortgage. It can be life-changing. It can be family tree changing, because the habits, and there's been all kinds of studies done on it, the habits of a home owner are completely different than those of a renter. And so there's story after story of people becoming homeowners, and so many aspects of their life, they usually make more money in the long run when they're homeowners, take care of things better. So many things in their life, the generations that, children that are raised in homes that are, homes that are owned as opposed to rent. Not everything's cut and dry, but there's just statistics that show that kind of stuff. So I think it's really cool to remember, like a single mom like that. Now she's got an opportunity to have another income coming in, possibly a paid for house when her kids are grown, with somebody else paying that mortgage all that time. There's so much to building wealth and just changing the concept of what homeownership really is. It's a lot more than owning a home. When I first bought my home, it's kind of silly, but I always tell people the one thing I remember when I bought my first home was I didn't realize how cool it was going to be. I got so dang excited the first night I pulled into my driveway, because I had lived in apartments over and over, and I had to park like 2 buildings down and carry grocery bags down and go upstairs. I never really thought about it, but like I pulled in the driveway and I just sat there and I was like, man, this is really cool. And like I didn't even think about how much pride that gave me to like pull into a driveway, walk into my house. So it does a lot for you owning a home.
It is, and it's amazing the first time you're able to pick the paint colors.
Yeah.
You're able to replace the flooring, or remodeling can be expensive and can be nerve-wracking, but you know what? It's yours, and you're remodeling it.
Yeah.
It's different than the landlord's coming in to remodel the bathroom. I'm going to be inconvenienced now for 4 weeks. Now It's like, man, I'm remodeling the bathroom. I get to pick the tile. I get to pick whether it's going to be a walk-in shower, whether it's going to have all those little things.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. It's amazing. And not to mention the generational wealth is something that I'm really focusing in my personal life right now.
Okay.
In the next few months, I'm going to be getting my first Airbnb under my belt. And it'll be my first source of rental income.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited about that. I'm scared.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Anything that's worth having never comes easy, right?
Exactly.
You got to take a chance. You got to take that first step. I mean, I try to practice what I preach. Sometimes I'd say, just do it. There's no problem. And then I'm like really slow to take the next step. So we've bought and flipped a couple of properties here and there over the years, but we still don't have our foot in the water as deep as we'd like it to be. So I got to take a step back and go, okay, and, do you believe in this? Then you got to take those steps too.
Oh, yeah. Talking about that. So my dad was in the Navy for 22 years. I'm the middle of 5 boys. So we would relocate and move, and my dad would fix up a home that he would buy a home that we would fix up, and then whenever we relocate again, we'd sell it for a profit.
Oh, that's cool.
So I always loved that. I always saw where that generational wealth could be, where that profit was. But I was 30, 35, I think, before I bought my first house, and I didn't get into real estate till I was 40. I have always wanted to get into real estate, but I've always been afraid of that leap. Like you say, it's our mindsets. We're afraid of that. It's the way we've been programmed growing up. And I was making 6 figures a year and a great job, but it was a job.
Right.
It wasn't a career.
It wasn't a career. Yeah, and a lot has to do with, where you grow up and how people do things. Like my parents were never homeowners. We grew up in a house that a family member owned. We paid them rent. We fixed up things here and there. So, I came out of, high school, college, all that kind of stuff, and didn't really think about owning a home. I got in the mortgage business whatever age I was, and I didn't have a mortgage.
Wow.
So I was helping people become homeowners, and I had never even done it myself. So I'm like, I literally said the headhunter that said, "Hey, I've got this mortgage company that's hiring." I was like, I don't even know what a mortgage is. How am I?
So how old were you when you bought your first house?
I think I was 26, 27.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually bought it pretty young because I got kicked into the mortgage industry on accident, or I fell into the mortgage industry on accident. But I mean, going into that, I had no idea.
So you started seeing how it was helping other people own their own homes. So
for sure.
You're like, I want a piece of this pie too.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to live in my own place. Like I told you, the apartment life was not fun. And I had kids real young. So by the time I was 26, I had all 3 of my boys. And my ingenious game plan didn't go perfect. So I was a single dad at that time with 3 boys. So trying to figure out, where we're going to stay in an apartment life was kind of rough. And so, yeah, it pushed me towards home ownership, and I'm really thankful that it did.
And I can imagine 3 boys in an apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, the 5 of us growing up, my mom had her hands full.
I'm sure.
I couldn't imagine us in an apartment where the neighbors are complaining about the noise.
Yeah. Yeah. Home ownership was a must for me. Like, no choice. I got to get out of these apartments. So for sure. Cool, man. Well, I want to make sure people know where to reach you or how to reach you if they need anything. So if you wouldn't mind, just kind of tell them where to go or where to call if they can, you can help them at all with any services.
Well, first off, I think this is sort of funny. I still have my Florida phone number. Moved here almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And, but
doesn't matter anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it is what it is. But feel free to give me a call on my cell, 352-446-0908. On all the socials at Tim Collins Realtor, or Tim Collins at gmail.com or Tim Collins Realtor at gmail.com.
Perfect.
But always here to help.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate everything you do for me and the people we work together with.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us today. Tim's got his information posted there. So if you would like to look at buying, selling a home, possibly just talking about generational wealth, talking about doing something in the future, give him a call. He's a great guy, a very strong professional, and can help you out with that anytime. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.